idea that the more we do it, the faster we'll get, the more.
What's up, man?
A lot of people ask me this question, and actually, this is one of the drummers who I feel I learned a lot from as far as hi-hat work. And I was wondering if you could show some, like, how to make your pocket feel good with accenting on a hi-hat. Like,
Woo,
a lot of people ask me that, and I'm like, dude, this cat got that, so.
I'm gonna tell you what, man. People underestimate the power of the open hi-hat, right? So this is cool. People underestimate that. Now, let's go back. So musically, right? Hip hop and R&B, I would say, are probably two styles of music that you can get some of the coolest hi-hat patterns you've ever gotten. If you really want to test yourself, listen to trap music and then try to do some of this stuff that they do on the machine. It's gonna drive me crazy, I'm trying. But anyway, it's like the idea is that when you listen to some of this stuff, just like the simple groove, I played it earlier. Now that is the simplest groove you could probably get, right? It's totally different once you add the open hi-hat. That just went from feeling good to like, now that is something everybody's head even popping out. Head. You know what I'm saying? It's a difference, right? So that's a great place to start because that's simple. That's regular. That's like, nobody's telling you to do 30-second notes on your hi-hat. It's just very simple, and just opening and closing the hi-hat makes a world of a difference. Then if you really want to get fun with it, I always say, us church runners, which of course didn't start in church, but we adopted it. The whole doing this whole snare hand hitting the hi-hat thing. So that whole situation, you can get into so many different combinations and accents. And I always tell people, try doing different things. If you play your backbeat on the snare, you play your ghost song on the snare, try playing your ghost song on the snare. You'd be surprised at what you come up with. And even now, saying, you talk about practice, right? And doing different things in practice. When you go home and practice tomorrow, and I hope everybody's going to practice tomorrow. When you go home and practice tomorrow, do not play right over left. Play literally open-handed for a day. So, I'm right-handed, so I naturally, right? If I was to play that same exact thing as an open-handed drummer, it would be more, sounds totally different. Because just naturally, two hands make a difference. So, while you're practicing, literally try playing everything you normally play with your left hand. With your right hand, play with your left hand. Or vice versa, depending on, right hand or left hand. And those things are things that, man, the possibilities are endless. How many accents you can come up with for just the hi-hat alone. Because it's almost really weird. You got you can do so many things. Go back and listen to Steve Gadd, 50 Ways to Lose Your Lover, Paul Simon. This dude played that alone is like, are you serious? Like, you just added that as a sound. But we do it all the time if you're playing jazz. Or like we talked about the clave earlier, these things that these cats do with the hi-hat, you can come up with endless possibilities to how to make this an accent piece and pick up the accent notes with it. You know what I mean? And even down to if you're going to play a regular beat, right? Make the whole groove sound totally different, and it's literally just the simplest thing. Even down to if you're going to do that, that type of thing. I'm sorry, guys. I have a show tomorrow. My computer just told me. That type stuff is the things that, like, when you're practicing, it will start to become like, cool. This is what makes my hi-hat stick through for that one small millisecond, but yet that millisecond in the grand scheme of things makes a world of a difference, you know what I mean? So yeah, I would say like literally, sit at home and just play things that you play with your right hand or your left hand and switch them up. If you normally play on a ride, and all drummers, like if you're doing, all drummers now do this thing where we'll be like, but I don't see many cats doing the literal. It's things that a lot of guys don't really do nowadays. However, these are all things that will it'll build your hi-hat repertoire, so to speak. And it'll add a lot more to your accent pilot stuff that you can kind of go to. Kind of like go-to rhythms, for the hi-hat.
Do you mind sharing with all of us here, what are your daily warm-up drills or some practices?
You know what I thought you said just now? I thought you said one of your ladies. I'm about to say, what? One of your warm-up drills. Yeah, so...
That's a different question.
No.
Say it, hold it.
Yeah, I know. But really, perhaps I guess they would like to see what is your, some certain techniques and approach or something.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
So, number one, I very seldom actually play a drum set when I'm warming up. That's number one. So, back there I did it on the stool. Life, everybody uses their leg, right? So, my favorite warm-up, if we're just talking about getting ready to sit down, right? Which my drum tech will tell you, I do not warm up before I play every time. I'll be honest with you. But when I do, my best is, it's like the one I use all the time is singles, doubles, paradiddle. Single, double, paradiddle. Single, double, paradiddle. So, single, double, paradiddle. And just keep on going in that. I mean, it sounds really dumb if you say, cool, I'll just keep doing that. But what you do is start real slow. By the end of it, you should be at, and that should be like ending speeds or faster, so to speak. I'm sure everybody has a different, thing, but that's probably what happens before I even touch a drum set. That's first and foremost on my list, you know what I mean? Because doing that, you can break it down in minutes if you wanted to. You could do 5 minutes each. You could do 3 minutes each. You could do whatever you want to do that commits to you, like speed-wise. Some guys I know do with a metronome. It's completely up to you. Phones nowadays do everything. You can download a metronome app and sit there with your regular earphones on and your leg, and you'll have a full-blown workout, right? So that's before touching the drum kit. In terms of actual drums warm-up, I can't say I do that many. You know what I mean? I'm one who, I just want to hear the drums. So, that's really all I need to know. And it's interesting because once you hear, when you guys listen to your drum sets, right? At home or come here or at a club, at a gig, whatever you do, and you guys listen to your drums, try to envision what your playing sounds like on that set of drums. So, prime example, John's gig right now, he has a different, the show that we're doing now is a different kind of show. It's an acoustic, intimate set, right? So, my setup went from this, actually more than this, it was really a lot of stuff, to a 12-inch rack time, a 16-inch floor time, and an 18-inch floor time with a 20-inch kick drum instead of 22, normal size. One snare, not two. And I sound different. You know what I mean? I sound totally different. Partially because when you play, the idea is to be able to make what you're playing sound like you, but still play what you're playing. If I bring a vintage Ludwig kit in here that is tuned for jazz playing, I would be highly surprised if you start playing church chops, so to speak, right? Or like gospel chops, as we call it. It's one of those things where I would almost expect you to start going traditional grip on me and show me what it's really supposed to sound like, because what ends up happening is you always want to be able to commit to your surrounding of instrumentation. So, if I'm playing a different kit, I'll warm up to what the kit is. So, with this drum set, it might be. I'll do that over and over again for hours. And I'll just keep listening to it, listen to the difference in my hands, listen to all the things that like find all the fault, right? Start, because like this is now the warm up into the practice. Or, you know, whatever you're about to do. The thing is though, if I'm playing a kit where it's only one rack time and 2 floors, it's not gonna be. Not so much. It might be. You know what I mean? And just like that, you mess up, just do it again. And those things become the warm-up. Those things become the prep to get you into the mental mindset as you make that interest in practice.
Yeah, got it.